ABC Big 2 News.
Developing now at 10, new details are emerging tonight about the lone suspect killed in a standoff with the FBI near Fort Worth. He's been identified as a British citizen who took 4 hostages at a synagogue in Colleyville. And tonight, new audio shows the moments when the suspect first stormed inside. His hate-filled rant was caught on live stream.
Are you listening?
It's very sad for us as a community.
That standoff ended after 11 hours after an elite SWAT and FBI team moved in. And all the hostages are safe tonight. They have escaped. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rob Tuke. This investigation in North Texas has a global reach and is expected to take time. ABC's Maria Villarreal shows us tonight the exclusive video of the moments when those hostages escaped.
Tonight, a frantic dash to freedom for hostages fleeing a nearly 11-hour standoff at this synagogue in North Texas. The group escaping through a side door with an armed man following them before he disappears back into the building. Flashbangs and gunshots caught on exclusive video from our ABC affiliate WFAA. Moments later, agents rushing inside. The FBI using a special hostage negotiating team out of Quantico, Virginia, to speak with the suspect now identified as a British national, Malik Faisal Ahram.
It's very likely this situation would have ended very badly early on in the day had we not had professional, consistent negotiation with the subject.
The suspect interrupting Shabbat services at Congregation Beth Israel outside of Fort Worth around 10:20 local time Saturday, taking 4 people hostage, including the rabbi, claiming to have explosives in his backpack. Authorities say he demanded the release of convicted terrorist Afia Siddiqui, now serving an 86-year sentence for trying to kill U.S. personnel in Afghanistan. Members watching a live stream of the service on the synagogue's Facebook page, now taken down, listening in fear.
You know, he said he had a bomb. He said he had a gun.
Across the country, law enforcement also stepping up security at Jewish houses of worship. Shortly after 5 p.m., one man set free, but the others remaining inside for over 4 more hours. All 4 hostages making it out alive and unharmed. Investigators saying the suspect died in a shooting incident.
This was an act of terror.
Today, President Biden condemning the standoff, saying this about how Ahram potentially obtained the weapons after arriving in the country from the UK in recent weeks.
I don't have all the facts, nor the Attorney General, but allegedly the assertion was he got the weapons on the street.
The Anti-Defamation League recording more than 8,000 incidents of extremism or anti-Semitism across the country in the last 2 years.
Anti-Semitism has risen as physical attacks has risen over the last 3 to 4 years, that we need to prepare our community.
Just last August, the Secure Community Network conducting a security and safety training at Beth Israel Synagogue. Tonight, one of the hostages, Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker, crediting that training for saving their lives, saying in a statement, "In the last hour of our hostage crisis, the gunman became increasingly belligerent and threatening. Without the instruction we received, we would not have been prepared to act and flee." Multiple sources tell ABC News that the initial indication is this man was shot by that special hostage negotiation team that was brought in. But right now, forensic tests are still pending. The FBI does believe that he worked alone. And as for Afia Siddiqui, she says she does not know this man and condemns his actions. Mireya Villarreal, ABC News, Colleyville, Texas.
Now, Governor Abbott made a campaign stop in Beaumont this afternoon. He shared his own thoughts about the hostage situation.
We never know the day or the hour when something may happen that will alter what a law enforcement officer does.
Now, the governor's stop is part of his Celebration of Texas tour. He also accused the Biden administration of operating, quote, lawlessly. To stay up to date with this investigation here in Texas, just head to our website, yourbasin.com.
Now, your Big 2 forecast first.
Well, friends, happy Sunday. Today was a sunny Sunday, but also a warm Sunday. West Texans were definitely able to enjoy 67-degree temperatures. Usually around this time in January, West Texans are definitely used to 58-degree temperatures. Today, like I said, warm, but not as warm as we were back in 1971 when we were sitting at a nice and steamy 79 degrees. Our lows came in pretty short. 21 degrees. We're definitely used to 33-degree temperatures. I'll have more of today's warm forecast later on the show. Back over to you, Rob.
Well, thank you, Bridget. Today's major winter storm along the East Coast is keeping road crews busy. Video from Richmond, Virginia tonight shows crews pre-treating major routes with a saltwater brine. And now first responders are bracing for what this storm may bring. At least one confirmed tornado touchdown today in southwest Florida. This video from Fort Myers showed debris getting picked up above a golf course. The National Weather Service later confirmed an EF2 tornado.
And what was going through your mind when you were trapped for 30 minutes?
I was worried. I looked up at the blue sky and I said, Satan, today ain't the day.
And across the region, the storm knocked out power, felled trees and fences, and coated roads with a frigid glaze. And tens of thousands of households were without power in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. A blanket of snow covered Greenville, South Carolina, as the area's biggest winter storm blew through this weekend. And that major winter storm is putting more than 100 million Americans on alert this weekend. Ice and snow are expected to cause major multi-day power outages in parts of the South. ABC's Elwin Lopez is in Charlotte, North Carolina tonight with that report.
The dangerous winter storm now bringing snow and sleet to the South. More than 100 million people on alert as that monster system sweeps farther east, carrying the potential to cripple parts of the U.S. In Tennessee, snow falling in downtown Memphis, as much as 4 inches possible. And in Greenville, South Carolina, sleet and snow blanketing the ground overnight. And here in North Carolina, flakes falling in Charlotte.
Our forecasters expect significant impacts across our state. This storm's a menace. Plan to stay home Sunday.
In Raleigh, the rush for essentials leaving some shelves bare. Grocery stores already struggling with supply chain and staffing problems.
We got milk, cereals, eggs, water.
Others grabbing flashlights, salt, shovels, and firewood at hardware stores.
There's a chance of power going out, so we have a wood stove and we just wanted to be a little prepared.
Duke Energy, the largest utility provider in the Carolinas, now warning customers to prepare for possible multi-day power outages, estimating that 750,000 of them could lose power.
We think it could be that bad, especially with the wind and the ice and the sleet.
And all of this has taken a hit on travel. Thousands of flights have been grounded nationwide. Here, more than 90% of flights have been canceled out of Charlotte so far for today. Elwin Lopez, ABC News, Charlotte, North Carolina.
And coming up right after the break, the future of marijuana in Texas. We take a closer look at decriminalization in the state and the power which voters will have in the spring.
And well, friends, another mild winter day in the Permian Basin. Did today's temperatures will it affect tomorrow's? I'll have the answer after the break.
And Cowboy fans are still catching their breath after tonight's game. We got highlights from their wild finish coming up.
Here we go. Everybody should be excited.
You know it's going to be fun.
What a game.
Never a dull moment.
We're going to have a hell of a good time here tonight.
The Vineyard, Midland's premier master planned community, impeccable high-end luxury with resort-style amenities. These Silverleaf homes are located close to Green Tree Country Club and are walking distance to Faskin Elementary. Contact Alexa to schedule your private showing.
The epic sell-off is on now at Furniture Row. That means epic savings on living, dining, bedroom, and mattresses. Plus, make your money work for you and get 4 years no interest. Epic styles, epic selection, all with epic savings. Only at Furniture Row.
Joe Biden refuses to secure our southern border. He's crippled law enforcement and emboldened dangerous drug cartels, criminals, and human traffickers. That's why the National Border Patrol Council is proud to endorse Governor Greg Abbott for re-election. He deployed new resources to assist law enforcement, and he's cracked down on criminal activity. No other governor has done more to secure our border than Greg Abbott. Joe Biden isn't protecting America, but Texas and Governor Abbott are stepping up.
Let me tell you something. I wouldn't be here if I thought reverse mortgages took advantage of any American senior. Or worse, that it was some way to take your home.
Learn how homeowners are strategically using a reverse mortgage loan to cover expenses, pay for health care, preserve your portfolio, and so much more.
A reverse mortgage loan isn't some kind of trick to take your home. It's a loan, like any other. Big difference is how you pay it back.
Find out how reverse mortgages really work with AAG's free, no-obligation reverse mortgage guide.
With a reverse mortgage, you can pay whatever you can when it works for you. Or you can wait and pay it off in one lump sum when you leave your home.
Discover the option that's best for you. Call today and find out more.
I'm proud to be a part of AAG. I trust them. I think you can too.
Call 800-693-9723.
It's the epic sell-off at Denver Mattress. Save big on the original Doctor's Choice lineup starting at only $664.99. Or check out the Summit Eurotop for only $332.49. Plus 4 years no interest and free shipping. The epic sell-off on now at Denver Mattress.
Watch Samantha Smarachniak and meteorologist Ryan DePhillips at 11:30. We're your weather authority. We warn you first.
Well, friends, let's get into some weather fun. Today's sunny and warm for the basin. Taking a look at everyone's high temperatures, for the most part in their upper 60s, like the Midland Odessa area at 67 degrees. Big Spring reached 70 degrees, but we did have Seminole at 68 as well. Now, Presidio, where it's always nice and warm today, actually managed to cool it down to only 61 degrees, but they weren't the coolest today. 56 degrees for the Guadalupe Pass, and then we also do have a couple areas that stayed pretty low, such as El Paso sitting at 57 degrees, but for the most part, a very warm kind of day for the basin. Very sunny Sunday for the entire basin. We definitely love that. Now, with it being a sunny Sunday, West Texans were definitely able to enjoy 67-degree temperatures in the Midland and Odessa area. Now, around this time in January, we're definitely used to, 58-degree temperatures, so warm. But you know what? Not as warm as how we were back in 1971 when we were sitting at a nice and steamy 79 degrees. Taking a look at our lows, we came in short for that today. 21 degrees for our lows. Around this time, we're definitely used to, 33-degree temperatures. Even though we cooled down today, we weren't as cool as how we were back in 1972 when we were sitting at a nice and steamy, not so steamy, 15 degrees. So definitely not bad whatsoever. Now, with the temperature change being warmer than yesterday, we actually increased by 14 degrees in Midland, Odessa, 13 degrees warmer in Big Spring. Presidio, only 2 degrees warmer. But for the most part, everyone was able to enjoy a sunny Sunday. However, the winds are cool and they have, cooled down a little bit, but they will be coming back up. We do have a high wind watch over in the mountains area, the Davis Mountains and the Guadalupe Pass, lasting until Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So high-profile vehicles, do take the necessary precautions so that you can make the most of your Tuesday, because I know with the winds, it's going to be very hard to operate those trucks. Now, that wind, do be careful by the time we get into 5 p.m. because even though it will calm down a little bit, that's when we see a lot of wind travelage. 23 miles per hour Big Spring, 24 miles per hour in Big Spring, and then 23 miles per hour in the Midland and Odessa area. But we get as high as 33 miles per hour in the Guadalupe Pass. So do be sure that you make the most of your Tuesday when that day gets here, because it is going to be very windy. Now, taking a look at our day planner, we're going to start off pretty cool and then we're going to end it off pretty cool. But before we get there, we will have a mild 62 degrees by 4 p.m. So definitely not too bad whatsoever. And with the hour by hours, we are currently in that cold front. That cold front is going to stay with us just for a little bit, and then we will get into Tuesday where that does warm on up. But taking a look at Tuesday, that 7-day forecast is going to pop up, and it is going to show that Tuesday is actually going to be one of the warmest days of the week. Hold on, give me a second. My monitor isn't working right now, but there we go. Tuesday, 75 degrees, so definitely not too bad whatsoever, Rob. We're going to have a little bit of some snow flurries on Thursday, but between tomorrow and the next weekend, definitely not too bad.
No, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to spending the next few days at home. This is our weekend coming up, so it's all very exciting, but I won't say I won't be washing my car anytime soon. It's not car washing weather.
It's not, no.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Bridget. New at 10, marijuana law in Texas. This spring, voters can decide whether to permanently end arrest for low-level marijuana offenses. ABC's Daniel Marin took a closer look tonight at the roadblocks and the potential path forward at the state level.
Small possession of marijuana is not the type of violation that we want to stockpile jails with.
For a while now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has struck a somewhat moderate tone when it comes to marijuana.
Thank you guys again.
And those remarks last week come as opinions began to change across the state. A UT Austin Texas Tribune poll last summer showed 60% of Texas voters say they support the recreational use of pot. Abbott has signaled he is open to the idea of decriminalization, but it's been a different story for Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
The Lieutenant Governor has made it pretty explicitly clear that he is not on board for lessening the state's drug laws around marijuana. But I think, like any other public figure, if pressure continues to mount, especially within his own party, there's no reason he can't change his mind.
So those are journeys that everybody's going to take on their own to figure out this policy.
Democratic State Rep Joe Moody of El Paso has authored legislation tackling cannabis reform. His bills have not made it past the Lieutenant Governor's Senate, but he remains hopeful.
There's this entrenched mentality, used to be this way on both sides of the aisle, that maybe we just wanted to be tough on crime. And both parties have started to depart from that philosophy. Some quicker than others.
I feel like cannabis decriminalization is very popular across the political spectrum.
Sam Benavides is with the group Mano Amiga, which is currently gathering signatures to try and get pot decriminalized at the local level in San Marcos. She says when it comes to marijuana, the state is leaving money on the table.
We have people in Colorado, for example, and other states where it's legal, building these multi-million-dollar businesses.
Political experts say that could be what ultimately tips the scale at the Texas Capitol, even if Republicans maintain power in the years to come.
I think the state is, a large one that faces numerous fiscal challenges, which are Texas size in most cases. Other states are generating revenue through the legalization and taxing of marijuana. There's no reason to think that Texas isn't also going to consider some scheme like that.
Daniel Marin, KXAN News.
We now go to sports with ABC Big 2's Avi carr-gloth. Avi, that Cowboys game. What a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, roller coaster. That's putting it a little bit lightly. AT&T Stadium, it was loud all day there for this playoff game. Even with the win, it's likely that this would be the final home game this season for the Cowboys. There's rarely ever a dull moment with this team, good or bad. So, in a do-or-die, gotta have a game against the San Francisco 49ers, it was only fitting that this one would end in controversy. Let's take you out to AT&T Stadium right now, and hey, for those watching the Nickelodeon broadcast, the slime was flowing. That's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith taking in the views and taking in the slime. How about the star at midfield getting the slime from the Nickelodeon blip? So a lot of fun pieces there for the broadcast crew. Elijah Mitchell, opening drive for the Niners, takes the toss 4 yards into the end zone. A strong opening drive for the Niners. Bring out the slime cannons. We got slime everywhere. Into the slime zone. The end zone becoming the slime zone. But again, a 7-0 early lead for the Niners. And still in the first quarter, Robbie Gould, a 53-yard field goal right through SpongeBob's face in between the goalposts. Never thought I'd ever be saying that. We got more slime there. That would be a 10-0 lead for the Niners. Cowboys would then trail 13-0. But then Dak Prescott does this off his back foot on 3rd and 6, completes a touchdown pass to Amari Cooper for 20 yards. We got more slime. The Cowboys generating this slime this time. And how about the Ninja Turtles giving us another look at it? Cooper making the catch, doing a little dance for those Ninja Turtle fans at home. That's Leonardo right there making moves in the end zone. Third quarter, the Niners are up 16-7 at this point. Deebo Samuel, he takes the pitch and he sprints into the end zone 26 yards for the touchdown. The slime zone. More slime in the air. And I know we like to say He's turning on the Jets right here, but Samuel, look at it. He's running so fast, he's got flames coming out of his shoes. Samuel putting the Niners in control. They're up 23-7. At this point here in the fourth, it's 23-10. But Dak Prescott on a 3rd and goal would rumble in from 5 yards out. That would make it a 23-17 game, igniting the slime cannons once again. Under 2 minutes left, Cowboys on 4th and 11. They had some chances here. Prescott trying to find Cedric Wilson. No, not going to be able to get there. Just a little bit out of his reach. A bit of a miscommunication there. Head coach Mike McCarthy steaming. 4th quarter here. One last chance. Cowboys, 14 seconds left. QB draw. Prescott keeps it up the middle, but they got no timeout, so they got to clock it. They throw the ball on the ground, incomplete pass to stop the clock, but they would not get enough time. The ref would bump into Dak Prescott, and the 49ers hang on to win 23-17. What an exhilarating one for the Cowboys. Their season comes to a controversial end. Well, we had a big college commitment in the Basin today. Crane dual threat quarterback Jackson Willis announced on Twitter he has committed to play for the Hardin-Simmons Cowboys in Abilene. Willis, who also played defensive back for the Golden Cranes, will play quarterback at HSU. He scored 122 total touchdowns and racked up almost 9,000 yards from scrimmage across only 3 seasons of varsity ball. Willis has been a major factor in the Golden Cranes' recent district dominance. They've won 8 straight district games over the last 2 seasons. So a big congratulations to Jackson, and a big congratulations to our very own director, Justin Escobedo and Rob Took, both Niners fans, all smiles after the win. So some of the fans here in the Basin were happy about the result. Watching the game with these two was a wild ride. And Rob, I guess I'll just lay the red carpet out for you. Huge win for the Niners. Go get them.
Look, I got to say, Avi, the defense on the last drive for the Niners was a little sketchy. Yeah. Right? The Cowboys marching downfield. But look, I'm not complaining. I'm happy.
Yeah,
all I want to see is...
that ref bump, too, kind of helped a little bit.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe I'll look the other way. But I want to see Bosa, I want to see Warner healthy again for next week.
They're going to Green Bay. That'll be tough.
Yeah, we'll see what happens over there in the ice and snow. Avi, thank you very much. Well, a Burger King employee shot and killed during a robbery. Coming up tonight, why her family and friends say her senseless death could have been prevented. And a disturbing video tonight, an officer grabbed by the throat during an arrest. But it was another officer who did it. Up next, what the investigation revealed. And as we head to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure you use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News. And if you haven't done it yet, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are ABC Big 2 News. Stay with us.
COVID is surging. Hospitals are full. People are really sick. Get tested. Get vaccinated. Get boosted. Please help our healthcare workers. VaccineNM.org.
I just had a friend direct message me and say, how can you work in media? It's so negative. There's so much bad news. And I messaged her back and said, there's always more good news than bad. And I think that at News Nation, we have the opportunity to show more positivity.
As a veteran, I cannot hear the national anthem and not get it.
That's not a bias. That's being American. When you have something like Morning in America to wake up to, you can guarantee that you're not only going to leave more informed, but you're going to leave more inspired.
Weekday mornings on News Nation.
A fresh start begins with fresh choices, like choosing to save more with Suddenlink. Get reliable, high-speed, 1 gig internet for just $49.99 a month. With it, you'll get a $200 Visa prepaid card, HBO Max included on us for 1 year, and a free Suddenlink stream with your favorite shows and streaming apps all in one device. Choose to start fresh by saving more on our fastest speed. Plus, as part of optimum flexibility from Suddenlink, there are no contracts or hidden fees. And unlock even more value when you combine with Optimum Mobile. Visit suddenlink.com today.
Midland Medical Lodge. It's not just a place to live. It's a place to call home.
COVID is surging. Hospitals are full. People are really sick. Get tested. Get vaccinated. Get boosted. Please help our healthcare workers. VaccineNM.org.
Get ready for your day with meteorologist Ryan DePhillips.
Developing tonight at 10, the investigation into a deadly robbery at a New York City Burger King. The family of the victim is demanding answers tonight after a 19-year-old was killed. And as Henry Rossoff reports, the victim even complied with the suspect's demands before she was shot.
Family circled around the mother of 19-year-old Crystal Bayron Nieves outside the Burger King where she was killed. Tears flowed freely, especially when she turned to address cameras through an interpreter.
She just wants justice for Crystal.
Tal vez no fue la primera, pero que sea la última, que estas cosas no vuelvan a pasar.
I hope that my daughter is the last one.
Crystal's aunt spoke also through a translator about the arrest yesterday of Winston Glenn in Brooklyn. The 30-year-old man previously worked at the Burger King in 2020 but did not know Nieves. Police say he killed her even after she handed over the money.
The family is relieved because we thank God that the person that did this is being caught by the police, so the family is very relieved.
Co-worker Samantha Martinez remembered Crystal and how excited they were to see each other.
Every time she came to the store, she would scream my name. I'll never forget the type of person she is.
And she talked about working conditions, especially overnight.
We don't have no safety. We really don't have any safety in here. That guarantees our safety in the store. All the Burger Kings have security. They see how bad it is in here. They never got security for us.
That was Henry Rossoff reporting. Now, JetBlue is paying for the family to fly to Puerto Rico, where they plan to have the funeral. And tonight, a Florida police officer is under investigation after appearing to choke a fellow officer. Body cam footage shows the officer yelling at a handcuffed suspect and pulling his can of pepper spray. That's when a female officer grabs him in an effort to de-escalate the situation. You can see the male officer turns around and places his hands at her throat. Listen to what a law enforcement expert said about this incident.
We see a female police officer that's finally doing the right thing, the thing we've been trying to retrain law enforcement throughout the country to do, and that is intervene when you see excessive use of force. So she does the right thing. And I think the sergeant's response to that is even more, if not just as appalling as his reaction to the handcuffed prisoner.
Now, the officer who put his hand on the other officer's throat has been relieved of supervisory responsibilities. An internal investigation is going on right now into this incident. And a tough lesson for a burglary suspect in Central California. Security video from a store shows this man taking a painful tumble from the roof of a grocery store. Hanford police near Fresno released this video of the early morning break-in, and you can see the suspect fall from a stack of boxes. When police say they got on scene, all the doors were still locked. No one wants to work for free, but after a beloved restaurant closed down, some customers put aprons on and got to work. Coming up at 10:30, we show you that heartwarming move.
ABC Big 2 Sports, brought to you by Glasheen Valles and Interman Injury Lawyers.
Hi, honey.
Oh, I missed you.
You just want a video call the kids.
Okay. Hush, little baby.
Don't say a word.
But if slow upload speeds turn your good night call into an accidental horror movie,
Can you hear me?
Shut it down.
just remember, you're not a bad mom. You just need better internet.
AT&T Fiber delivers faster upload speeds for more reliable video calls. Get AT&T Fiber, plan starting at $35 a month for a year. Limited availability in select areas. Call 877, only ATT.
Honey, what was your favorite part of the weekend?
Wow. When can we come back?
The
holidays. They always seem to bring a lot of stress. Well, I'm Bob Mills, and I've got a great solution for you. This Franklin Power Rocking Recliner with power headrests and 5 wonderful colors to choose. Just $971. Plus the lumbar massage, storage arm, and even has wireless charging. But remember, only Franklin offers the forever frame, foam, and mechanism warranty. And even better, I'm giving you 20% extra furniture free. Now this works.
The Midland Chamber of Commerce invites you to the 2022 State of Oil and Gas Luncheon on January 26th at the Horseshoe Pavilion. In-person attendance as well as a live stream access will be offered. Join us as Ryder Booth, Chevron North America's Vice President of the Mid-Continent Business Unit, shares his unique insights relating to the industry and its impact on our local economy. This event is made possible by the generous support of Diamondback Energy. More information and tickets are available now at midland.biz.
What happens when your favorite restaurant closes down? A group of customers took it to heart when their local diner closed its doors because the staff got sick. ABC's Tony Gefto shows us tonight how those diners went from sitting at the counter to working behind it.
The restaurant industry is fast-paced. El Typico restaurant, like so many other family-run businesses, has a small number of employees.
We're only a staff of 8 or 9 people, and you have your key players, and once one goes, it's like a domino effect because we don't have enough people to staff the person that's missing with that experience.
Owner Dina Villa says last Friday she made the call to shut down for a week after she and other staff members showed symptoms of coronavirus.
I was down by 2 servers. The other server wasn't able to be here on Saturday.
When Dina posted to Facebook they were short-staffed and would have to close, some longtime customers decided to pitch in and help.
They said, hey, we can come in and help. We'll do whatever you need. Which touched my heart. I thought that was beautiful.
Those customers filled in the gaps and kept the restaurant up and running last Friday.
They cleaned tables, they washed dishes, they played hostess.
Now, after nearly a week off, workers at El Typico are back at it, taking care of customers in the same way customers took care of them.
How nice is it to have customers who really care? That was Tony Geftos reporting. And coming up after the break, Bridget will have one last look at the forecast. Stay with us.
The Village at Manor Park is a continued care retirement community that offers dozens of independent living floor plans. Plus, there are various levels of care if your needs are to change. At Manor Park, you'll find peace of mind and great amenities that will improve your quality of life. Yard care, trash pickup, and food service are just a few. Plus, Village South is complete. Live in a new home across from our community center. Manor Park. Live well and love where you live.
Jax fans, help us pack the shack.
As we host the Corpus Christi ice race. Let's go, Jax!
We hope to see you at the Jack Shack. Go, Jax, go.
The Vineyard, Midland's premier master planned community, impeccable high-end luxury with resort-style amenities. These Silverleaf homes are located close to Green Tree Country Club and are walking distance to Faskin Elementary. Contact Alexa to schedule your private showing.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza the Hut.
Well, friends, let's look at that 7-day forecast. Tomorrow's MLK Day, and it's going to be a sunny Sunday for the kiddos who are not going to school. It'll be a high of 62 degrees. Then we get into Tuesday. It's going to be very warm at 75 degrees. But I know you're looking at Thursday, and you're like, some snow? Yes. In the morning, we're going to see some snow flurries with a little bit of mixture of some rain. And that's going to cause us to wake up at only 18 degrees on Friday morning. So we'll reach our teens on Friday. For the most part, this week is kind of looking like another, warm winter kind of month, and definitely not too bad whatsoever.
Well, these new images are coming in tonight of that explosion felt around the world. This impact of this volcano in Tonga reached the U.S. yesterday with tsunami advisories here and in other parts of the world. We will continue to follow the impact of that explosion, but we wanted to share these images with you. Certainly awe-inspiring and awe-inducing. Well, that's all the time we have for news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next weekend.